this is Nancy Smith Maddox on Shine Your Light Radio Ministry on WYTV 7. Very excited to be here with you. We have an awesome guest. His name is Anthony DeNero, and he is a published author and the founder of a company of his own. We're going to talk about his book today, and I'm just so excited to have him on here. But let me just say that WYTV 7 does a lot of things in the community, a lot of community efforts, a lot of projects. We are a nonprofit, and any seed money that we get through donations, we do use to promote our shows, and we do have international viewers, so it's very, very exciting. And what we say at WYTV 7 is if we reach one person, we've done our jobs. So that's very, very exciting. So without further ado, let me introduce Anthony. Anthony, we're going to talk a little bit tonight about your company that you have founded. I want to hear all about that. And I mainly want to hear about your book, your new book that's getting ready to be released. Very excited about that. The name of the book is, let's see, I have it here, The Power of Giving and Gratitude, a path to creating your reality, which is what we're calling the show. We're saying that we want to know if people want to create their reality. So real exciting. So without further ado, let's tell us a little bit about yourself, Anthony, before I start.
Sure. Well, first and foremost, thank you so much for having me. I've been excited about this for a while, and really looking forward to the next time that we spend together. So about myself, I very fortunate and blessed to be married to a wonderful woman. We've been able to have two beautiful girls, and a little bit over 5 years ago, after a successful career in terms of sales and marketing and management type positions, I went out on my own, decided that I wanted to start my own company. That company has been now around for about 5.5 years. It's called CORE, Creating Our Reality. And I've had just a fantastic time in developing the company, in getting out and reaching and speaking to new people. Essentially, the services that my company offers, I am a motivational speaker. I'm known as, and I laugh every time I tell people this, I'm known as the smart guy. Now, to clarify for you and all your listeners, SMART's an acronym, and it's really at the heart and soul of what I believe. It stands for Success Means Acquiring Right Thoughts. Because I fully believe that with the right way of thinking, and the key to that is taking action. When you think the right way, when you take action, you will, without exception, be able to create your reality. So I've had a lot of great opportunities in terms of working both smaller and larger venues, state, national conferences, keynote speaking, and along with that, I have the pleasure of working with companies and nonprofit organizations to help them in such areas as leadership, effective communication, a workplace environment, sales, marketing, customer service type roles. And
well, I love that's the American dream, Anthony. So that's awesome.
Well,
I do love to have people on my show to interview that have been in business and that are entrepreneurs and motivational speakers, because I firmly believe that that Shine Your Light allows my guests to shine their light in the world and help people. And really, that's what it's all about for me. I am a retired credit union CEO after 25 years. So I know a lot. I'm basically a marketing and financial guru myself, but I'm getting old now. So I'm just letting everybody else that's young, that's doing things, do all of that. But people need help. And that's what we're all about, is helping people. So I'm really excited to have it and hear more about it. The name of your company is CORE, C-O-R lowercase e, Creating Our Reality.
Correct.
So, and I love the acronym, the SMART guy. So tell us a little bit more about creating our reality and kind of what that means.
Yeah, creating our reality to me it's a partnership. And my role in the partnership is helping people to understand that each and every one of us out there is blessed every day that we're able to wake up and, pun intended, shine our light on the world and what it is that we do. And essentially, my thought, my belief, and what it is that I talk to people about is that each and every day we're fortunate enough to wake up. We have the opportunity to create the love, the life, the happiness, to have all of our dreams, all of our desires come true. But, again, it takes work and it takes the right mindset to get into that flow. But we all have that ability.
Well, it does take a lot of work, but you know what? The work is really worth it. You receive a lot of accolades and a lot of gratitude, really,
Sure.
and just self-fulfilling from helping other people. So that's awesome. You're also a co-developer of the CORE project. What is
Yes.
the CORE project?
Yeah, thank you for asking. The CORE project, and shameless plug, I have one of my little shirts on right now. It is a curriculum that I co-developed with an associate of mine. His name is Jim Barbie. And the CORE project essentially is a self-esteem, social skill building curriculum that we had designed initially to work with troubled teens. Well, yeah, within North Carolina, which is where I'm located, we started having some success with it in teen courts. We developed a 7-week curriculum, and then something really cool happened. We got called into what I refer to as the principal's office, the Department of Public Safety. And they called us up and said, hey, we've heard great things, and we wound up meeting. It took you 2.5 years to develop a 7-week curriculum. How quickly can you have a 16-week curriculum for us? And we were like, oh, of course, no problem. And then ultimately, we went back and we researched and, we added things, we took out things, and ultimately now we have a 7 and a 16-week curriculum that is designed for teens ages 12 to 19. And at the end of this month, we will also have an elementary edition that has been developed that will address and help kids grades 3 through 5.
That is fantastic.
Yeah,
I had no idea when I read through your stuff. So that is just really awesome, because if there's anything that we need right now is for our children, really, I think of my grandchildren, really to have self-esteem. It's just something that they just don't have these days.
Yeah, it really is lacking, no doubt.
Very much lacking, and that leads to a lot of issues. It leads to a whole lot of issues if they don't have any self-esteem. And I don't have any girls. I have 2 grandsons, but with girls, I mean, that's really a huge problem. Boys don't always have a problem with self-esteem. Sometimes they're just too cocky for their own good. But
yes, we tend to have that.
The girls. They need that self-esteem. So I love that program. I think that's great. And wow, what a blessing to get it in the schools and the court system.
Yeah, we're very excited about that. And we're also in some community-based programs, not just here in North Carolina. We have the program in Virginia as well as out in Los Angeles. So, we're starting to expand, starting to do some really good things. We're talking with a number of detention centers as well now, because our thought is, unfortunately, a lot of these kids and really even adults who go back and, they're in prison, they're out, they're in, they're out. A lot of them, we're coming to find out, lack a lot of these social skills. So if we could at least get them some type of education to help them before they get out so they don't have to come back, we certainly think that that's a good fit for that area.
Sir. Part of the problem with the detention, the ones that go into detention, into the special, the hardcore schools, they really don't have any self-esteem, and all they know is struggles. All they know is fighting, Absolutely. And pulling and tugging. And so that's an excellent program for that. I wish you very much success with that. That's awesome.
Thank you.
I want to get into the book now.
Yeah.
You have a new book that's coming out. The name of it is The Power of Giving and Gratitude. Tell us about what your inspiration was for the book, and tell us about the book, what's going to happen with it, and when it's going to be published and everything.
Yeah, I appreciate that. Super, super excited. This is the first time working with a publisher, so to become a published author, as I believe a lot of your guests in the past have been, they can relate. It is such an exciting time, such a time filled with pride and excitement and anticipation, a lot of nervousness as well. You hope the book will sell well. And that being said, Yeah, I want to be clear about something with the book, and my motivation in doing it. Yes, I would love for it to sell millions and millions of copies, worldwide, and just be, the best thing ever, written, as people would say, right? But that said, to me, the power of giving gratitude really is based on, my thought, my belief that the messages contained within the book are designed to help people out.
Mhm.
Yeah, I've always believed that if you go about business, if you go about releasing a book, whatever it is, if you do it with the right intention to make a difference, then everything else will take care of itself. But the power of giving and gratitude, it's set for release in March of this year. So again, we're getting close. Very, very excited about it. I essentially, for me, the motivation was in ultimately writing it came from my own experience, because about the time when I started my own company, it really forced me with the struggles of a new business that a lot of us go through. It really forced me to step back and kind of look at things from a bigger picture, perspective. And, I came to realize that while like a lot of people, you want more in life. You want a bigger house. You want nicer cars. You want more money in your bank, all that kind of stuff. I really stopped and paused and realized, you know what? I really do have a lot. I really do have more than most people, if you look at it from a worldwide basis. I'm really, really blessed in so many ways. And so the gratitude portion for me really came into focus. The giving aspect, when I used to think of giving, it would always be, okay, who can I write a check to try to make a difference, right? And that's a fantastic way to help people out. But to me, I started developing it a little bit deeper and realizing that giving, comes in so many different forms. Yes, it can be that check that you write, or a donation that you make, even at a convenience store, you drop your change in, that's fantastic. But giving also comes in the form of, giving of yourself, giving your time, your energy, your attention, your love, your guidance, right? So giving, for me, I always try to look for different ways to give, in my life. And then once I started living more in that way, or trying to live more in that way, it led me to think that, made me realize that I really had an opportunity here to kind of take my own experiences, combined with a lot of research that I've done for the book, and utilize not just my own experiences, but stories from everyday people as well, and ultimately develop this book. It was a process, like all of them are, but I'm fortunate enough in that my publisher, Ozark Mountain Publishing, really saw the potential in it, and like I said, we're just a couple of months away, so very, very excited about it.
Wow, so Ozark Mountain Publishing is your publisher?
Correct.
Is that because they're in the Ozarks?
I'm not physically sure the actual location. They're in Arkansas.
Okay,
And,
that's what I thought. Yeah.
Yeah, and they are. They've been in the publishing business for a long time, and it was really interesting. A quick story, if I may. I was, in all honesty, I was able to attract an agent who really wanted to get behind the book. So, she kind of took it and started writing to publishers. Well, unfortunately, she couldn't find a publisher.
Ah.
And so the agent and I, great woman, but we ultimately parted ways. And Ozark had a very different process for choosing their authors, because nowadays with technology, it's basically email us this information and we'll get back to you within 2 or 3 weeks. Well, like I said, I was about ready to give up on the whole process, because after a year plus, it just wasn't happening. So I found Ozark, and their process was mail us 2 to 3 chapters. Tell us what your plan is for the book, and we'll get back to you in 6 months and let you know. So, yeah. So at that point, I was like, look, I have nothing to lose. If it's meant to be, it's going to happen. So I'm going to send it off. I'll probably forget about it, and hopefully one day I'll get a call or an email. And almost to the day, 6 months later, that's exactly what happened. And
Wow.
Since that time, we've gone forward. And again, just I hope you and your listeners can sense it. Just a very, very exciting time. And A lot of
yes, sir.
anticipation.
I've published 3 books myself,
Ah,
and
so
I
you have.
also I'm in partnership with a small company. We do publishing for
Ah,
people. I do a prison ministry, a
oh, okay.
prison publishing ministry, where I go into the prisons, and I really
Wow.
like to get the ones that are just released and write
Sure.
their stories.
Yeah.
Because what happens is we have 2 in the works right now that are still incarcerated, and what happens is they get in trouble while they're in prison, and they
Right.
get put in isolation for telling their story. Because
Sure.
most of their stories are from the beginning before they ever went to prison and what happens when they're in prison. And it's very motivating. But back to your book,
That's
I think
wonderful. That's wonderful.
your book is really that's scriptural too. A lot of
Yeah.
a spiritual meaning within your book, because that's what God tells us to do. God
Sure.
tells us to bless people, and we will receive more blessings. And I think the older we get, which you're nowhere near as old as me, but the older we get, we realize that we have been blessed a
No
lot. We
doubt.
have everything that we need. So now's the time that we need to help people. And it's really a theme of WYTV7 and Shine Your Light and all of our other broadcasters. We're just trying to put it out there to help people. And that's what you'll find most gratifying with your book when it is published, is that, it will help people. And that's
Yeah.
what you want. Deep down inside, that's really what you want to do
It,
when
it,
you've reached a pinnacle. So.
yeah, it certainly is, and you're right on about that. There, I kind of classify it as a self-help. It is definitely spiritual, not religious, and to me that there is a distinction between the two. But speak a lot about God and my beliefs in there. But again, those in the self-help genre who enjoy those nonfiction type books, spirituality is kind of where I fall with that.
Well, you have to be real careful and not make it, you don't really tout it so much as a spiritual, because that turns a lot of people off. But what happens is people buy your book and read it, and all of a sudden they're turning spiritual too. You know what I mean? They're getting more out of it. So what do you hope to accomplish with your book?
Yeah, honestly, the accomplishment for me is really twofold. Like I said earlier, I would love to, sell and also give away and help out, just as many copies of the book as I can. And I would hope that every author has that ambition to at least want to, be successful in what they do. But, that said, and really in line with what it is that you talk about at WYTV7 and your show is, helping and making a difference. And here's my belief on people like myself, motivational speakers. And yes, we inspire and we make people feel good, and that's wonderful, right? But, for me, it's about bringing out the understanding in everybody that, hey, you know what? People like me maybe can play a little bit of a role, but it's really all on you. And that ultimately ties back into, my message of creating our reality, and that we do have that ability to make great things happen for ourselves in our lives each and every day.
Can you share a little story that's in the book? Maybe one of your examples with us?
Sure. Let me think of a good one for you. Well, I'll use one. Like I mentioned earlier, I use a lot of research went into the book, and a lot of stories that are out there in the public, and one of the things I spoke about what actually involved what I'm calling an everyday person, and he's actually a gentleman that I've known for about 15 years now. His name is Matt Ryan, and he lives up in New York now. We used to work together here in North Carolina. And Matt, ultimately, what the reason that we reconnected and his story got in the book was because I put out a message on Facebook to all my friends and said, hey, this is what I'm doing in terms of the book. And does anybody have, a story that they'd like to share that revolves around, gratitude? And Matt, among some other people, sent in a story, and I thought by far his was just fantastic. And it essentially winds up being how he was having, as he tells it, just one of those days, just a bad day and a bad morning. Had some issues, and it was pouring down rain, and his wife had to come to help him out. And anyway, he winds up at a bagel store up by his home. And he watched and experienced how somebody paid for his breakfast. And then the person behind him paid for the next person's breakfast. And this went on for 7, 8 different people, at the time that he was there, during the time that he was there. And, stuff like this, I think it's more typical than we realize. But my point in telling the story is that good things that happen on a daily basis, they're all around us. And we have to be open, and we have to look for these things that do occur. And even by Matt sharing that story with me, which, was on Facebook, which means that people, from different parts of the country that I'm connected with, saw it and experienced it and felt it, which means hopefully that experience will even multiply to a greater extent when people go out and get the book, hopefully even internationally. And it's just because one person took the time and had the opportunity to say, you know what, I want to do something nice for somebody.
Well, I don't know if you've ever experienced this or not, but if you have ever been in the drive-through and you get up to pay for your bill,
yes,
just might be you're in the car by yourself, you're grabbing some quick lunch, and the cashier will say, well, the gentleman in front of you paid for your meal. I mean, it's really thrilling. I mean, it's only $6, but it's very thrilling. It's like somebody cared enough about me, and it's happened to me a couple of times, but I try to do it every so often too, because I call it paying it forward for people. But, you never know when the person behind you really doesn't even have $10 to spare for lunch. So, I mean, it thrills you, and it makes you feel really, really good. So it's really the little things that we all can do that show our gratitude and show that we have a giving spirit. And and it just endears, but it's total strangers. When total strangers do it and you never see them again, or you don't know anything about them, it's just something really special about that. So
and it spreads a message, because that person is going to say something to somebody, and that person will continue the story, and it's just what it does. To me, and I do it at like a convenience store I go to here in my neighborhood. Every once in a while, I'll tell the cashier, hey, put that drink or whatever it is, let me pay for it. Don't tell them it's from me. Just tell them I said, have a better day, and we just don't know. Hopefully that person appreciates it, and they tell a lot of people. Maybe they do, maybe they don't. But if they do, just the good feelings that it creates, for not just them, but for other people, that's all inside of us. Right, that's got to come out though more. That's got to come out, and just little things like that, I think lend to it happening.
Well, I don't know if you know it yet or not, but you can't write just one book, okay? What happens is when I've done 3 books, and what happens is when you get one done, you're so excited, you're like the juices just start flowing, and you're like, it's time to do another book, and you'll start thinking of other things to do.
I've caught that part, yes.
You've had a lot of blessings. You've been very successful. You're an author, motivational speaker, trainer, consultant, and the co-developer of the CORE project, which I love. What else do you look forward to accomplishing?
Well, you hit it right on the head in terms of getting that bug. But to answer your question first, to put it simplistically, 2 words, I plan on accomplishing a lot. And I have a lot of dreams. I have a lot of goals and ambitions. One of them includes the fact that I am, in my head right now, just processing through a few different thoughts and ideas as far as a second book I'd like to ultimately release. So excited at the prospect of that. I'm actually developing a curriculum of my own now. And what I'm going to do is I'm going to base it on the thoughts and beliefs that I have as a speaker and as an individual. I'm going to call it, creating our reality. That, ultimately at some point, once it's written and reviewed, I would like the opportunity to at least speak with different colleges and universities about the idea of helping, younger people understand that, hey, you know what? We just because you're going to school for this doesn't mean you have to give up on other dreams. Doesn't mean that you can't be open to experiencing different things. Bottom line is, while a certain job and a certain career may pay you, X number of dollars, are you really happy? And if you're not, realize that there are different opportunities out there for you. Be open to different things. Be open and be receptive to experiencing different messages, and help yourself in the future by starting now, and just come to understand that just because you seem to be going down one path doesn't mean that your hopes and your dreams that you've had maybe when you were younger have to go by the wayside. You still have the opportunity to do that.
Well, it's very interesting because this creating your reality has really popped to the forefront in the past 6 weeks for me. I went to a birthday party in downtown Little Rock. There were 30 women at this birthday party. The birthday girl was celebrating her published book of it's called Exhale to Excel.
Oh, okay.
And all throughout through that conference, which was her birthday party too, all throughout that conference, she was talking about creating your reality. Yeah. And every time I turn around now on Facebook, I see more people talking about creating their own reality. And I'm like, sure. Wow, this is really something here. So, I mean, that's why this is such a timely interview. And I hope you glean a lot of success from it, because people are starting to think about that. People are starting to think about, what can I do? And they don't really... They want to be entrepreneurs. They want to create something. They want to create their own reality so they don't have to work a 9-to-5 job. And I mean, it's happening with people that are younger and younger now. So it's awesome.
Yeah, absolutely. And the thing about it is, if you're happy, doing a job and, as you say, 9 to 5 or whatever the hours are, I think that's awesome. That if that's where you feel good, that's where you feel comfortable, that's what you want to do, I say just keep on going down that path, because your happiness ultimately is what's most important. However, if there are other things you want to do, if there are other things that you want to accomplish, or if you feel a certain calling or something that keeps popping up and it's telling you maybe I should go in a different direction, chances are, follow that.
Yes.
There are no guarantees, of course. I don't want to make it, I don't want to oversimplify it, but, I think there's a definite message there.
Yeah, and I think this will help people a lot. Anyway, we're out of time. I'm going to have to go. And I thank you so much, Anthony, for sharing with us. And we'll be back in touch with you. And we may want you to do some of our stuff at WYTV7. So thank you so much, and have a beautiful evening, okay?
I would be honored. Thank you so much. And if people want to check out the book, please go to my website at www.creatingourreality.com. There's a tab there that says order the book. And lastly, if you're a company, and you want to get behind that mission and spread that type of culture within your organization, I actually do have different opportunities I'm speaking with companies about regarding being a sponsor. So, please hit me up. There's a contact tab on that website as well. In the meantime, Nancy, thank you so much.
We will post that website so people can see it, okay?
Fantastic.
Thank you so much. I appreciate you, Anthony. Okay, bye-bye.
Thank you. Bye-bye now.
Thank you so much for watching and listening. If you've never accepted Christ as your Lord and Savior, you can today. To learn more about this important relationship, or to even request prayer, contact us at wytv7.org. There are no prerequisites or requests for joining. All you have to do is simply believe that Jesus Christ died on the cross for our sins, and he was buried and raised from the dead. If you need forgiveness, simply ask, and it's yours for the taking. Once you've done that, congratulations, you are now a member of the body of Christ. Now, attend a Bible-believing church, study his word, and practice it daily. Congratulations and welcome to the kingdom of God.